Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of The Smart 7's brought to you by your Nectar prices at Sainsbury's. These days it's hard to find value for money on your weekly shop, right? Well, maybe you're doing it wrong. You need to unlock the magic of your Nectar prices at Sainsbury's. Every Friday, you can unlock up to 10 personalised discounts on things you love in the Nectar app. And the best part is that while Nectar prices are for everyone, your Nectar prices are just for you. So check your Nectar app and unlock your Nectar prices to save more now. Enjoy your own personalised discount on things you love with your Nectar prices at Sainsbury's. That's good food for all of us. The offer's for 18 plus, Nectar app required. Unlock up to 10 your Nectar prices weekly. Available in supermarkets, online and in locals with Smart Shop. T's and C's apply.
It's Saturday, the 4th of October. I'm Ciara Evans, and this was a week that saw the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. Donald Trump pushed for peace in Gaza. Europe pulled on to win the Ryder Cup, and tributes to a groundbreaking naturalist.
Grab a cup of something hot, put up your feet, and get up to speed on the 7 biggest stories of the week. This is the Standout 7 from the Smart 7.
It's news,
But not the news.
The Labour Party got their annual conference underway in Liverpool last Sunday. The theme of the conference was Renew Britain, but with poor polling numbers and not one but 2 recent scandals, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is under serious pressure as leader for the first time in his political career. He chose to come out swinging on Sunday, directly challenging Reform's new immigration policies, which would see the indefinite right to remain revoked for immigrants, meaning potential deportation for people who have lived in the UK for years.
I do think that it's a racist policy. I do think it's immoral. It needs to be called out for what it is. I think that there are plenty of people who are thinking of voting reform, who are frustrated. They want us to change things, and they want the change to come more quickly.
There was a largely positive reaction to the more direct criticism of reform, but the pressure on Starmer remains, and tough budgets and a refusal to shift on the 2-child benefit cap have caused unease with one of Labour's major supporters, Unite. Sharon Graham is the General Secretary of the Union, and she says Labour can't take their support for granted.
We've got a real issue going on where a lot of our members are worried at the direction Labour's going in, and this Labour government is not doing what they expected them to do. So it becomes harder and harder to justify the affiliation.
After losing his deputy leader, Angela Rayner, and recalling US Ambassador Peter Mandelson, Keir Starmer's own position as leader of the Labour Party appears to be under threat. A sizable number of backbenchers are unhappy with both the polling numbers and the government's austerity-like approach to the budget. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham has been positioning himself for a leadership challenge, saying that there's a climate of fear in the party which has shut down policy debate. Tory Shadow Housing Secretary James Cleverly said he's not impressed by Andy either.
Andy Burnham may be popular because he's being compared with Keir Starmer, who is a disaster. But let's look at his track record of delivery, or failure to deliver, for example. Swapping one person with a record of failure for another, I'm not sure he's going to get Labour out of its current difficulties.
With a new poll suggesting half of Labour's members would like a new leader by the next election, Housing Secretary Steve Reid had to step in to defend the boss.
And I'm very proud of the job that Keir Starmer is doing. He picked this party up off the floor and he led us to a landslide victory. That victory gives us an obligation to focus on changing the things that matter most to the British people.
Day 2 of the Labour Party conference in Liverpool saw serious cabinet heavyweights take to the stage, including Chancellor Rachel Reeves, new Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood and Defence Secretary John Healey. The Home Secretary used her speech to criticise racism at the Tommy Robinson March and lay out a new tough regime to regain control of our borders. She also says that migrants will have to prove they are contributing to society to earn the right to remain in the UK. Chancellor Rachel Reeves was focused on growth but warned that there are are harder choices ahead when it comes to the economy. She also pledged to introduce a new youth guarantee to ensure every young person will be offered a college place or apprenticeship.
We won't leave a generation of young people to languish without prospects. I commit this Labour government to nothing less than the abolition of long-term youth unemployment.
The big question was whether or not the harder choices and references to borrowing meant that tax rises are on the way. But Keir Starmer's Chief Secretary Darren Jones wasn't giving much away.
Well, the manifesto stands today because decisions haven't been taken yet. We've got forecasts coming from the Office of Budget Responsibility. We don't know what those say yet. And when the Chancellor is in a position to make decisions, which she will be in the coming weeks, she will make those decisions and then she'll tell the country.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer gave his leader's speech to the Labour conference in Liverpool on Tuesday. He chose to aim pointed attacks at Reform and its leaders, saying that Nigel Farage doesn't believe in Britain and calling for voters to reject Reform's politics of grievance. The Prime Minister has been increasingly direct in his challenges to Reform this week as Labour struggles in the polls and with his personal ratings at an all-time low.
I will fight with every breath I have. Fight for working people. Fight for the tolerant, decent, respectful Britain that I know. People say, Conference, that a nation like ours can't be a community. But it's too diverse, too divided. I reject that.
He made mention of his father, the toolmaker, but with good humour, and spoke about Labour's plans for a national renewal. He also ruled out a wealth tax and backed Chancellor Rachel Reeves and her aim of staying within the fiscal rules for the autumn budget. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch was watching but was unimpressed.
Well, I just thought it was really extraordinary that Keir Starmer could not explain how he was going to improve the economy. And I just wanted to repeat the offer that I made to him. He doesn't need to worry about his backbenchers. We will help him bring spending down if he will work with us.
The High Court ruled on Wednesday that a firm linked to Tory peer Michelle Mone breached a contract with the government to provide sterile gowns during the pandemic. The firm PPA MedPro is now required to pay back the £122 million it received for the gowns after failing to prove that they were appropriately sterilised. The high-profile case was dismissed by Baroness Mone's husband Doug Barrowman as a travesty of justice, and the peer called the judgment shocking but too predictable. Chancellor Rachel Reeves says the government will pursue the firm, which is now in administration, to collect the money.
That money belongs in our public services, and we have done everything in our power to get that money back. Anyone who got a government contract where the contract was not being fulfilled, we will come after that money.
Sir Keir Starmer was in positive form after his conference speech this week, with his new firmer Starmer persona gaining some traction. He sat down with Robert Peston to emphasise that he is confident in his ability to turn the economy around.
We had an election, we had it last July. I took over our party and people said, you won't be able to change it. I changed it. Then they said you won't be able to win the election. We won the election with a landslide. Now they say you can't change the country. I'll do the same. I'll change this country.
The Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur was marked by a brutal attack on a synagogue in Manchester. A man drove a car at a crowd of worshippers and attempted to gain entry to the Heaton Park Synagogue in Crumsall while brandishing a large knife. Police were quickly on the scene and, concerned that the man appeared to have an explosive device strapped to his chest, shot him twice, killing him. 3 people died in the attack and 4 are in hospital. And while police have identified the attacker as Jayed Al-Shami, a 35-year-old British man of Syrian descent, and at least 3 other arrests have been made. Assistant Commissioner for Counter-Terrorism Policing Lawrence Taylor spoke to the media.
Based on what we know, Counter-Terrorism Policing has declared this as a terrorist incident. Our specialist teams are now leading the investigation into what happened and working closely with Greater Manchester Police.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the vile individual who carried out the horrific attack and vowed to protect and support the Jewish community.
All of our thoughts are with those affected. Additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
There were messages of condolences and support for the Jewish community from across the world, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that weakness in the face of terrorism only brings more terrorism, and Israel's foreign minister accused the UK of failing to tackle anti-Semitism. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham and Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood were both on the scene, and the mayor praised bystanders and staff at the synagogue who acted quickly.
It seems as though the security staff at the synagogue have really done an amazing thing and intervene to keep a great deal of people safe. Every single person in Greater Manchester this morning should be standing with our Jewish community as they go through this experience, this trauma.
One of the members of the Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue, Rafi Bloom, told Sky News that he wasn't surprised that there had been an attack.
This attack is a culmination of something that the Jewish community has been fearing for 2 years. We've been faced with a tsunami of Jew hatred since October the 7th, vandalism, physical attacks, online abuse.
Russia launched what may have been one of its worst attacks on Kyiv across last weekend, with over 600 drones and 40 missiles fired at Ukraine's capital over a 12-hour period. At least 4 people died in what Ukrainian President Zelensky called a vile and cowardly attack. It came after US President Trump called Russia a paper tiger last week, repeatedly mocking their failed attempts to win the war, something which seems to have heightened Russian aggression. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov spoke at the United Nations on Saturday, promising a decisive response if his country is attacked by the West. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte was warning the situation is grim.
We are in an age of confrontation. This is confrontation we did not seek. Russia has brought war back to Europe and has teamed up with China, North Korea and Iran to expand their capabilities and their ability to exert influence.
Monday saw Moldova's ruling party hold on to its majority despite Russian attempts to interfere in the election, and the result was hailed by President Maia Sandu as a strong mandate for Moldova to join the European Union. Monday also saw Denmark calling up military reservists as it responded to what appeared to be more Russian drone incursions over the weekend, and it appears that NATO countries are preparing to take more aggressive action against Russian incursions. The UK's Defence Secretary John Healey addressed the Russian president directly at the Labour Party conference.
President Putin, you will not win. Stop the killing, start the talks, agree a peace. We will stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk was taking an equally tough line.
We will not lose. Ukraine will win this war. We will preserve Ukraine's independence and secure the future of our children and generations to come. I firmly believe this. Think about it, talk about it, and take action.
Wednesday saw the French Navy board a Russian vessel that appears to be part of Russia's shadow oil fleet, but that is suspected of launching the drones that violated Denmark's airspace. The Kremlin has denied any knowledge of the incident, but with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz declaring that Germany is no longer at peace with Russia, former NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says all options are now on the table.
The line between war and peace is more blurred than it used to be. And therefore we need a wide range of tools to respond in the proper way.
Ukrainian President Zelensky announced on Wednesday that his country has completed phase 1 of their application to join the EU and called for the process to move faster. Speaking at a meeting of EU leaders in Copenhagen, which saw an announcement of €4 billion in funding for Ukraine's defence budget, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the EU members fully understand the urgency.
So these are times where it is absolutely paramount that we have this common sense of urgency and unity to address these challenges. And therefore this informal European Council in Copenhagen comes just at the right time.
Russian President Putin made a speech on Thursday in Sochi in which he mocked NATO fears of an attack from Russia as nonsense. He says that Russia is closely monitoring the escalating militarism of Europe and that Russian countermeasures will not be long in coming. Russia has continued its attacks on Ukraine, with the focus appearing to shift to 2 nuclear plants, the one in Zaporizhzhia and the defunct plant at the site of Europe's worst nuclear accident, Chernobyl. Ukrainian President Zelensky is increasingly concerned that the power supplies to both plants appear to have been cut and that the risk of an incident at the containment units in Chernobyl is growing by the day. He says power needs to be restored immediately.
The situation is critical. Because of Russian shelling, the plant has been cut off from power and is being supplied with electricity by diesel generators. This is extraordinary. The generators and the plant were not designed for this.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was at the White House on Monday to meet with President Donald Trump and discuss the proposed US peace deal for Gaza. The 20-point plan would see all hostages released, Hamas forced to disarm, and the release of Palestinian prisoners, along with a withdrawal of the Israeli military from Gaza and a new international board of peace. Trump and Netanyahu also apparently phoned Qatar during the meeting, and the Israeli PM apologised for the attack on Hamas targets in Doha. Trump described Monday as one of the greatest days ever in civilization, but Hamas have not as of yet agreed to the deal. The Israeli Prime Minister was determined that Israel will seek to complete its aims one way or the other.
This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done.
The 20-point plan was only shared with Hamas on Monday evening by Qatar, but Trump wasn't giving them a lot of time to consider the offer.
We're going to do about 3 or 4 days. We'll see how it is. Israel's all signed up. We're just waiting for Hamas, and Hamas is either going to be doing it or not, and if it's not, it's going to be a very sad end.
Hamas said it has begun to review the proposal, which will take a number of days as it needs to consult with political and military leadership in Palestine and abroad. There was a general welcome for the peace plan, including from the UK, Germany and Arabic nations, who issued a joint statement. One of the new elements to the plan is an international board of peace, which is set to be chaired by Donald Trump himself, with only one other name announced as yet, and that is former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. Blair's record on the Iraq war raises some serious questions about his suitability for the role, and Palestinian activist Mustafa Barghouti was amazed at the proposal.
Bringing in Tony Blair, for God's sake. Tony Blair was described by his own colleagues as a war criminal. One of the British parliamentarians was saying that the place for Mr. Blair is not in Gaza but in The Hague.
Away from the Middle East, Tuesday saw the United States gather all of its senior military leaders, general and admirals, into a hall in the Quantico Marine Base for an extraordinary meeting with the newly renamed Secretary of War and President Donald Trump. Trump warned them that they could be required to quell the enemy from within as part of a new domestic rapid reaction force of protest and domestic terrorism. And he suggested that anyone who didn't like that should resign and lose your rank and your salary. Pete Hegseth lectured America's senior military leaders as if they were new recruits, fixated on basic requirements like shaving and doing regular physical fitness tests. He also insisted that everyone in the room would have to meet weight and height requirements twice a year, although how your height might change wasn't clear.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Still to come on the Standout 7, in association with Metro, Europe celebrates a dramatic Ryder Cup win, and Taylor Swift drops the life of a showgirl.
Right after this.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Most people overpay for car insurance. Not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Welcome back.
Last weekend, all eyes were on the Ryder Cup, which was a raucous affair with the New York crowd piling abuse on the European team. Europe started strongly, running up a solid lead on Friday and Saturday, but things still came down to the wire after a dramatic turnaround by the US on Sunday. However, Ireland's Shane Lowry did enough to win it for Europe.
I just can't believe that putt went in. I stood over it going, this is it. I said to Darren walking down 18, I said I have a chance to do the coolest thing in my life here. I've won the Open in Ireland. It's amazing. It's a dream come true, but the Ryder Cup for me is everything.
And while the Ryder Cup may have finished on Sunday night, but the American team were still sore about the loss on Monday. They complained about the envelope system that saw points from one match halved after Norway's Victor Hovland had to drop out injured, and they complained about the Europeans teasing Donald Trump after Rory McIlroy got a text from the US president. None of that changed the result, however, and the big question now is whether Luke Donald will stay on as European captain for the 2027 tournament, which takes place in Limerick's Adair Manor in Ireland. He wasn't giving much away though.
Yeah, I'm still trying to process everything. Obviously this has been a long journey for me, almost 3.5-year journey as captain for Europe, and it's gone incredibly well. Yeah. Obviously I've put a lot of time and effort into it in the preparation to try and give our team the best opportunity, but just those memories that we'll always have now, and that we were able to create some special history together. That's what it's all about, and what means so much to me and to all the lads.
Friday saw the world, or the Taylor Swift part of it, celebrate the life of a showgirl. The 12th Taylor Swift album officially dropped at midnight Eastern Time, setting off a tidal wave of appearances from the official Queen of Music. She's not just dropping an album either. Cinemas across the world are hosting special release party screenings of the behind-the-scenes making of the album, along with the world premiere of the new single, The Fate of Ophelia. One person who seems to be out of the loop on Taylor World is former bestie Ed Sheeran. He popped up on the Andy Cohen on Sirius XM to promote his own album Play, but the conversation turned to a certain Taylor Swift, and it seems like Ed might not be in her inner circle anymore.
Have you heard Taylor's new album?
No.
Did you get a save the date for the wedding?
No.
How did you find out about the engagement?
Instagram.
You didn't even get a DM in advance?
No.
No.
Fans have been eagerly awaiting the Showgirl album, but the first reviews are a bit mixed, with the album leaning more towards soft rock than the pop bangers many were expecting. Taylor was on plenty of UK radio stations on Friday morning, including Magic, where she talked about what the song Life of a Showgirl means to her.
But there are some lines in the song The Life of a Showgirl that are very much sort of like the manifesto of how I've had to operate within this industry. It's a song about meeting one of your sort of idols, and they, instead of being what you thought they would be, they warn you against following in their footsteps, because they just want to be honest with you about how hard this industry is. And you do it anyway.
She also popped up on Radio 1 with real-life bestie Greg James, where the conversation turned out to be more about Travis and Taylor than the album release. The good news is, it sounds like Greg has his wedding invite in the bag.
You know, you and I have known each other for so long, longer than Travis has known you. I need to just check that, because the vibes are strong from him. I think he's a great guy, but I need to check for sure. I just want to play catch with him.
No, he would do
That's
that.
all I want to do. Yeah, okay, well, that's great. I'd like him to maybe just do a wrestling move on me into a pool or something would be great.
The way that he's going to do that as soon as he sees you at our wedding is like, that's going to happen. Like, he's just going to...
Whoa.
Oh, did I?
Am I coming?
Obviously.
Is it a destination wedding?
People don't think that we're actually friends.
Scientist and groundbreaking global activist Jane Goodall has died aged 91. She was born in Bournemouth but travelled the world in her journey to discover more about her beloved chimpanzees and worked tirelessly to safeguard their environment and the planet. Her foundation announced her death, describing her discoveries as revolutionising science, and praised her tireless work as an advocate for the protection and restoration of our natural world. She was a pioneer as a female scientist in the 1960s, and also in how she brought science to a wider audience through her work with the National Geographic Society. She was still active, speaking at the Forbes Sustainability Summit just last week. Rest in peace, Jane.
We are the most intellectual species to walk the planet, but we're not intelligent. If you're intelligent, you don't destroy your only home. And so we've got to get together, and scientists are beginning now to really work out technology that can help us live in greater harmony with the natural world.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
If you're a smoker or vapor, ready to make a change, you really only need one good reason. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you'll discover many good reasons. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Plus, Zyn offers a robust rewards program. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.